Sam Logue here for Green Blood Boxing. Absolutely delighted to be joined by the European Cruiserweight champ, Tommy Mac. What's the story, bud?
All good. Glad to be back on the show again, this time in real life.
Yeah, I really appreciate you, man. Give me a few minutes of your time. I really do appreciate it. You boys are so sound with your time. So, and like, you know, we're getting the big shots now. A European champ, you know what I mean? I feel lucky. But no, I really appreciate it, man. Come here, obviously, straight up. Chris Billum-SMITH on a fight camp, hopefully, right? Talk to me about the matchup. I mean, we spoke before, and it wasn't really something you were too interested in. But obviously, it's something that Eddie's been pushing for, Eddie Hearn, of course, and we have it now by all accounts. Talk to me a little bit about how the fight was made and just how you're feeling going into that fight.
Yeah, well, as you said, like, it wasn't really something I was interested in because I was trying to push on the world title fight, and you know, I'm ranked highly. I'm ranked in the top 5, top 10 with a major governing body. So I've always felt it was a pointless fight for me. But you know, what's the same with Matroom? They wanted to put that fight on for fight camp, and I was like, look, if that's what I have to do to get the world title, then so be it.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem like a good matchup in so many ways, to be honest. And I always kind of felt like this. I mean, Chris Billum-SMITH is a name who's growing in the UK, I suppose, in the UK scene. He's been on Sky for a good few fights. You've been on Sky now. I feel like it's quite a good matchup to build your profile. I'd say there's a few quid in it as well compared to maybe other fights. And then it seems to me like a very good fight to push on from, you know. And it's a good, credible win. I mean, to be fair to him, he's a good fighter. You know what I mean? So, is that the kind of pitch that was sold to you?
No, it's just as he says, look, everyone needs a breakout win before the fight for the title. And as he says, Billum-SMITH's building his wee name over in the UK in it. So me beating him gets my name out more in the UK. So it's just all really for to build up my profile and make me a bigger name going into the world title. Yeah,
100%. And come here, obviously, just to touch back on that, what I said there, obviously you weren't too interested in it before, so what brought that shift on? Is Eddie just really persuasive, or is there kind of more detail you can go into there about kind of how that shift happened? Was there chats with Mark Dunlop? Was it kind of like, oh no, this is just the best matchup for you at this time?
Nah, just like Eddie Hearn's the best promoter in the game, like, and this is what he thought was the best idea. Yeah. So I was like, look, you know best, and if I can't beat Billum-SMITH, I'll not be world champion. So like,
yeah, it's a good point.
You know what I mean? So and now it's like you get that fight and you get another payday as well as fighting for a world title. So it's like, you know, free money.
Yeah, it's like a double whammy kind of, isn't it? It's 100%. So provided you win that fight, who are you looking at? Are you looking the WBC route, which seems to be where you're ranked? Well, you've had some WBC titles. So Lunga Mccarthy is the champion there. Obviously, UK and Irish fans might know him from losing for the vacant title to Tony Bellew. But to be fair to him, he was very live in that fight until he got knocked out. But is that the route you're looking for, or kind of is there any of the other champions that you're looking to aim for?
Really, I always wanted to win the WBC belt because I think it's the best looking belt.
Yeah.
And I've said loads of times, you know, coming up, like I'm one of the Mayweather babies Mayweather was all about the WBC, so I always wanted to win that belt. But I don't mind any one of them, and I would love to fight Brutus, because Brutus is the number one, like, unofficially. Like, everybody knows he's the top name, so the Brutus fight's the one that I would jump at more. But obviously any one of the belts, doesn't matter. And then Cole's with Matroom and with Matroom, so that's a handy fight to make. So any one of the 4 major titles, it doesn't matter. Like.
Yeah. So there's no specific route in mind where you're like, let me get this one because I think this is, say, at this time the most winnable fight, and then kind of build into certain fights, or is it just anything at any time, I'm ready?
Any one at any time. But for me personally, the fight, like if I was going by the most winnable fight for me that I know I'll win, it would be Brutus.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so the consensus number 1 in the division at the moment, you think is actually maybe stylistically the most favourable matchup for you. Can you just go into a little bit more detail as to why?
Just like he's short and he's not a massive puncher, and I sparred with him, so I know what he's like. Yeah. So I'm not going into the unknown. Whereas, you know, if with Mccarthy, he's also short as well. He's a southpaw. I've never been in a ring with him, so there'll be like a wee feeling out process. Yeah. A Coley, a big, tall, gangly guy. Another, like a wee puzzle you have to figure it, and then the WBA champion. Same again. He's kind of like the same, short and stocky and strong, but it's three people I've never been in a ring with before. So, going in the Breeders, like I know what he's about, and like from I went and sparred him, like I've always been thinking like this is the best way to beat him. When I was there in the camp, I was trying different ways which I think would work against him. So I've got it in my mind. I know how to beat him. Yeah.
100%. I mean, it makes so much sense. It's really logical. But it's stylistically, it's not really about that. It's more just that you've been in the ring with him. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, I think it's a fight we all want to see. You know what I mean? But any of the champions would be amazing. I think it would probably make sense that Eddie will look to build like the O'Coley fight if you can, because he loves a good domestic kind of dust up, doesn't he? Man, you're an Irishman, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's the most natural fight to make. Two Matroom fighters as well, and everybody loves Ireland v England. You know, like the Tyson Jonas and Katie Taylor. You know, so this could be like the male version.
What about the prospect of O'Coley unifying, you getting a world title from another champion, and then a unification fight against O'Coley? That actually, now that I think about it, is something that maybe Eddie might look to do.
Yeah, listen, that is a brilliant. You know, that's brilliant for both sides, and then you've got an Irishman and Englishman fighting to become undisputed cruiserweight champion. Like it's unreal. But listen, Eddie knows best. So whatever he does, whatever he comes up with, you know, both of us are just going to go along with.
Yeah. No, 100%. You're heaping praise on Eddie here as the best promoter in the world, and I think, you know, I should probably be very unbiased, but it does seem to me, just to be fair, that he is kind of the driving force at the moment in boxing from that standpoint. Talk to me about signing a deal with Matchroom. How does that even make you feel? I suppose it's a really basic question, but you know, what's that like? It's a big deal.
Well, yeah, obviously it's the dream for all boxers starting out. Fancy you want to sign with Matchroom, and everyone was buzzing about it. But then when it came to the signing, I was like, it just felt natural, like it was always going to happen. So I never had like a mad buzz or anything. I was just like, this is, you know, just business. Yeah. So but it's good, you know, you get the guarantees you're going to fight, you know, you're part of the stable, you know, you're not sitting on the sidelines, whereas a lot of fighters are, you know, you're trying to stay ready because just in case something happens. Yeah. And I've been in that position my whole career, whereas now, like, you know, right, you're fighting here, boom, this is the next date, you're fighting on that one, and then this is what's happening, so you're more structured. And
exactly. Yeah. It seems to be the big difference in your career lately, since signing with Mark as well, to be fair. I mean, I think Mark Dunlop needs a lot of credit. He's done wonders for yourself and all the other lads as well, especially James Tennyson. Is that consistency, that kind of getting in the ring, getting active, and it seems to have culminated well with you joining Pete. So talk to me a little bit about the consistency of fighting and joining Pete, and how everything is kind of just built, and now you have that confidence where you're like, I'm ready now for the titles.
Everything just kind of came together perfectly, and it's still falling into place every single day. And it all happened with Mark, you know, a chance meeting in the cafe, and then we got to talking, saying to him, and his whole thing was, look, you've been out of the ring for a year, we just want to get the fights, just get ring time. Yeah. So that was his whole thing, get the wins, and then the relationship he has with Matroom, he was able to get me the opportunities. Yeah. Then once I got the opportunity to go to Italy, I was like, I need to make sure that I'm in the best condition that I can possibly be in. Yeah. So I got in touch with Pete, linked up with Pete, and you know, that was kind of like the final piece of the puzzle, and everything's just been going from strength to strength since that teams came together of Mark Dunlop, Pete Taylor, and me, and now Eddie Hearn.
Like the final piece of the puzzle, maybe to really push on for that world title. What's more important in your career now? Is it titles and kind of legacy, or is it the financial side of things? Because you are at that stage now where you're with the big promoter, you know, you got the big matchups, and the money is going to be better now, right? Logically, I would never dare ask you what you're making, but logically it's going to be better now. But what is it for you? What's more important?
For me, it's always been the titles has been the most important. And I always say it's the young pros that forget about the money when you're coming up, because just concentrate on the success, and with success comes the money. Yeah. So the mission is always to win the titles. The money's secondary.
Yeah. Like if you don't have the love to be in the sport and to try and achieve, then you won't be able to get to that stage where you're making the money.
You won't get money unless you achieve something. So you have to focus on winning the titles, and then the money comes with it. Like the two of them go hand in hand. So, you know, just get the money out of your mind and just focus on what the job is.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to talk a little bit about the Chris Billum-SMITH fight, if we can. Obviously, it's going to be a tasty little build-up, is what it feels like. Anyway, I was chatting to Tyrone already about it, and he's excited. He was getting me excited for it. Obviously, your post-fight interview after the Jura fight, and congratulations, by the way, it was a really good performance. Your post-fight interview was top quality. I remember texting you just going, that was brilliant. And I think that's the kind of thing as well that will really help. That helps the profile, helps people to kind of go, oh, this is tasty, because there's a bit of tension. You could see a real kind of fire in your belly for that fight. Talk to me about kind of the multifaceted aspects of that fight. Like there's the McGuigan thing, there's a little bit of tension between you and BILLAM-SMITH. It's also a good fight. I mean, you're definitely the favourite, but it's a good fight as well. Talk to me about how you see the fight going and how you feel that build-up is going to go.
Like the build-up, really, he's been calling me out for a long time, best part of a year. And as I said, I was not interested because I'm beyond him. And then he's always there respectful when he was calling me out. And then next thing, he tweeted me saying, I'm going to punch holes in you. And I was like, what? And so it was, mine was more like a reaction to, like, who do you think you're talking to? So, like, I don't know the guy, but he's obviously a gimp the way he's getting on. And, the way I think the fight's going, like, I think it's too much for him, just too much too soon. Like, he's been well matched and all, so I actually just see me, like, taking control and him panicking.
Yeah. Is there any kind of any holes in his game that you see? I know you might not want to talk too much about tactics and stuff, but is there anything obvious that you see that you can exploit?
Yeah, like every fighter, you know, all styles make fights. Yeah. So his style is made for me. Big, tall, stand-up, straight guy with his hands. Like, he don't have a good defense. Yeah. Easy hit. So like, there's plenty of exploitation to be made. You know what I mean? He's
been criticised for saying not moving his head much and things like that, I know. So I suppose there is. I mean, I know you're being a little bit coy on it. Maybe you don't want to go too much into it, which is fair.
Too much to say, but like, there's plenty to exploit, and that's the plan. That's what we're going to do.
Talk to me about the seems to be a bit of a rivalry between you and Shane McGuigan as well. I know you sparred and stuff back in the day. You must be similar ages and similar weight as well back when he fought. There was a few digs thrown back and forth over the last while. Talk to me about that dynamic. I mean, I'm looking forward to the build up, but talk to me about that dynamic and kind of how that's come about.
Basically, Shane, there's no rivalry between me and Shane because Shane don't box. You know what I mean? Shane's just a coach. But like I said, for years he's been doing, like, backstab me and talking bad about me for no reason. Because, like, we always before this all started, I thought we got on well. I thought we were, you know, good acquaintances. But he has a problem with me and just talking shit about me all the time. So that's where I came from. And also, you know, I'm Carl Frampton's my mate, and you know, there's no secret about what way the treatment he got from Shane and his dad. So that's really it. Like, but Shane is like a small factor in this because Shane's not getting in the ring.
Yeah.
So it's all about me v CBS.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. No, that's totally fair. One thing that popped into my head that I just want to ask you about, because I just think it's interesting in general. We see like Thomas Carty is a newly turned over pro. He's after going over to spar Anthony Joshua. There was definitely it was news when it happened, but maybe it went a little bit more under the radar. You sparred Tony Bellew on a number of occasions. I mean, probably one of the most, for me, probably one of the more underrated world champions of the last few years. I think actually he was a lot better than people gave him credit for. Talk to me about those experiences of sparring someone like Tony, who's given you so much praise over the last couple of years as well, and kind of what you learned from those experiences.
Yeah, well, I was in Tony's camp for 6 weeks, and we got to know each other, and it was great because at the time when I sparred him, he was #1 in the world at my weight, so I was able to test my skills against, the WBC champion of the world, and I was like, this is the level I need to be at because obviously I was my aspirations, and it was good to not just show the ring room, but to see what kind of training they're doing, and it's a good eye opener to see what they're doing at the top level.
Yeah.
Well, at that time of my career, after the Bellew sparring, I went away and I was sparring loads of top world class world champions and world contenders. So it's good to get experience, but you have to be careful that you don't fall into becoming a sparring partner, because it's great, it's an easy life. You go over, you spar. Like the Bellew camp was different because I was the only one there for weeks.
Really, yeah.
But in other camps you go and there's a few sparring partners, so you get in, you do 2 or 3 rounds, you get out, you have a rest, get in, do an hour, couple of rounds, and you're getting paid, you're getting your expenses, you're getting sparring. So it's easy money and it's an easy life, and it's great crack. You meet the other sparring partners and you have a laugh. So it's good to get into camps maybe a couple of times, but it's so easy to slip in the sparring partner mode, which happened to me, and you kind of lose your competitiveness. So it's good, it's good Thomas is getting that experience to spar with a heavyweight champion in the world, and it's great, especially at this stage of his career, give him good confidence in it. So hopefully he can take what he sees out there and then add that to his game, and then that'll help him drive his career on.
Yeah. You think that there won't be many negatives coming out of that, if any, what an amazing experience for him. The last thing I'll ask you about, Tommy, is actually, again, to do with sparring. You were sparring Joseph Parker very recently, obviously former heavyweight champion of the world, very slick operator, obviously training with Andy Lee now. They're based, I think, they train in Dublin as well. Talk to me about that experience. I mean, being in with someone of that level, what did you take from that, and how was it kind of being in the ring with Joe?
Yeah, so I'm at the stage of my career now where I don't want to be a sparring partner. So when I went to spar Joe, I wasn't going in there to help him.
Yeah.
I was going in to help myself, and in the process it's helping him. And we're both of us are getting, because he was fighting I think he fought the week before me, so it was beneficial for both of us.
Yeah.
And I'd like to keep that going for his next camp. And like I said, the same with Thomas, Joseph Parker, heavyweight champion of the world. Not too many people get the experience sharing the ring with heavyweight champion, and it was great. It was great work, and it's good. Even though I've got a lot of experience in boxing, you're always learning in this game.
Definitely.
So to share a ring with someone who's been to the top of the hill, and I can pick up wee things and see what he's doing. How did he get there? What's he doing that I'm not, or what's he doing that I am doing? To give me confidence. So it was a great experience, and it was great work.
Is there a lot to be learned? Maybe not as much, or maybe even more. I don't know. You can tell me. But outside the ring as well as inside the ring, from just chatting to people like this, from just hearing little bits and pieces of information, just his ideas, maybe his ideologies on certain things. Is there a lot to be learned from that?
Definitely, there's probably more to be learned outside the ring than in
from
the
just
ring,
chatting and stuff.
Just chatting and people giving you their perspective on things and perspectives on training and what the do's and don'ts and the roads that they took, because in any road to success it's never just straight. So, but it looks like it. Even me next time I'm a Matchroom European champion, people think it just happened overnight. Like, there's been a lot of twists and turns. So if you get the chance to be in a gym with the likes of Joseph Parker or Tony Bellew, and you get a chat with them, like it opens your mind up to all new things, and you do pick up loads just from speaking to them, and it's like when you share a ring with someone, like there's a bond just comes like straight away. A respect thing, especially if you have good work. So like after one spar, it's like you and this person become mates. Like, and boxers, I'm sure you'd find that it's very hard to come across a boxer who's a dickhead. Most boxers are all sound. So it's brilliant, you know, like to sit and have conversations with these guys, and then they're good contacts to make as well, because they would know other people in the game, and then you can get more sparring, and then, or like if Joseph Parker was having a show and they need to fill it up, you know, you could get on his bills and vice versa on it. So that's more important, or as important as getting the rounds in.
100%. Yeah, I think it's something that people kind of almost forget, maybe that these it's pockets of information and stuff can almost be as valuable sometimes as just being in the ring with someone, you know. Tom, thanks very much, man. I really, really appreciate your time. Do you want to like shout out any sponsors, or is there anything you want to say before we go?
Sure. There's Peak Physique, Northern Property, EJC Contracts, Lux Interiors, and Aircore. Thanks for everything, lads. That's my sponsors.
Bang on, man. Thank you so much.